Hey, everybody.
I'm alive.
We're alive. It's a special Super Show. We're doing a special Thursday Super Show because yesterday's Super Show ended our normal scheduled time right as the PlayStation Showcase started. And then we got into some business stuff, so Taylor and I didn't get to watch. We wanted to watch live.
Yeah.
But we couldn't, and that was sad face for us. We went, oh.
That's okay. We got to catch up on all of the awesome game previews.
We did.
As well as all of the awesome news, and we just wanted to go over it with you guys because just in case you didn't get to see the showcase, we wanted to highlight some of the cool things we got to see.
So I want to start on the showcase with this.
Yes.
Sony did it again. Games. Here's some games. We're going to show you games. We're not going into extraneous shit. We're not doing anything wonky. We're just going to tell you
games.
And it's worked well for them for a decade,
well,
where that's been their primary focus.
It's about the time in the PS5's life cycle, right, where they are starting to finally catch up with the new hardware that they released. So all these dev teams are finally optimized for this console, which means that now is the time for all of those exclusives to be released and all of those new games that they've been making to be released on the PS5, which is really exciting.
Hey, chat, whether you're in TikTok or YouTube or on Twitch, drop in the chat if there's any particular games or anything you'd like us to highlight in particular while we're going through this, so we know to stop some of the stuff we're going to be a little less interested in. So we're going to run through it all, but if you want us to stop on anything in particular, make sure you drop it into the chat and let us know what you want to talk about. Spider-Man 2 got a 9-minute showcase.
As it should.
As it should.
Symbiote suit, splash new moves for Mile, and Kraven the Hunter will be in the next thing.
I'm pretty excited. The movement of the original Spider-Man game. Spider-Man. The original movement system in the Spider-Man game that came out has been, bar none, one of my most favorite ways to navigate a game. The only caveat being, if you get vertigo, don't play it on a very big screen because it is very, very much like you get absorbed into it and you are swinging with Spider-Man and it is difficult to pull yourself out.
Yeah. Are we going to get grumpy AF symbiote Spider-Man? Probably. So I'll be honest, that's my only complaint about the Spider-Man series. And that is I don't love the actor that they got to do Spider-Man.
Really?
And I don't love the model. It very much reminds me of the 90s cartoon Spider-Man version. I don't get me wrong, I loved that cartoon back in the day, but really the one thing that took me out is when he was Peter Parker, he looked like a 35-year-old man.
Oh, yeah. Okay, fair.
And he looks so milquetoasty, like...
generic white dude.
Yeah, like, oh, gee, shucks willikers. Like, he just... Spider Mortgage Man, yes. Thank you, Producer Pete.
All he needs to do is carry around a coffee cup.
That's really the hardest part I have with it. The kid they got for Miles and the stuff with Miles is really, really good. I mean, here's the thing. The first Spider-Man and then the Miles Morales add-on and everything has been immensely popular. I'm sure that Sony's going to sell a crap ton of these games.
I'm excited to see if they've done any improvements on the combat systems, especially because there have definitely been some parts, for myself at least, where I will be right in the middle of the fighting fugue and grab the wrong thing.
Oh, yeah.
And just, like, jack myself up. Hopefully that is something that they have considered, but if not, it's still going to be just an absolute awesome game, to be honest.
Yep. All right, next one in the shoot. Metal Gear Solid 3 Remake, so Snake Eater, which is the one that was the original big boss, takes place in Vietnam, and was one of the better ones, and I think it's really the last one that was really good before Metal Gear kind of jumped the shark, in my opinion. A little bit.
Do you mean the open world zombie one?
I'm kidding.
Revengeance.
Oh my god. And this will be as part of the Metal Gear Solid Master Collection, which will be Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty, and 3, Snake Eater. So the fact I really am looking forward to these remasters if they're done well.
Me too, especially if they get to consider a lot of the newer systems and the way that we play them in the mechanics of those games. Like, I know you've talked about the Psycho Mantis fight for the first one.
Yeah, how are you going to do that?
Yeah, how are you going to do that?
Oh my gosh. So for those that don't know, in the original Metal Gear Solid, it took place on the PlayStation 1. This is back before we had these fancy wireless controllers you young whippersnappers are used to. The way you beat the Psycho Mantis boss fight was you had to unplug your controller from the Player 1 port and plug it into the Player 2 port.
So he couldn't read
your mind.
Moves.
He couldn't read your mind if it was plugged into the Player 2 port. Yep. So that would be... Yeah. I'm curious how they're going to do it with this.
Flip your controller upside down.
No!
Use only your 6-axis.
Only 6-axis.
Real-time event by swiping on the pad.
Yeah, I mean,
Wait,
that
that's
might
PS4.
actually.
Do they have that? No, they don't have that on the PS5, do they?
I assume they're keeping it. It's been around since PS3.
Okay.
Yeah. Again, I think it'll be really interesting to see what they do with that.
You can tell how far back I've played PlayStation. I haven't even touched the PS5 other than to set it up for the store.
Okay. Final Fantasy 16. They got a launch trailer. It's next month. This one's really close.
The combat. I'm excited for the combat.
The combat looks bonkers. It looks very Final Fantasy. It looks very anime.
Looks like they took some pointers from Devil May Cry as well, which I'm really excited to see. Just with like the multiple hit combos and just how crazy it gets. You also get to turn into giant
It looks like you get to turn
creatures?
into the summons, which that would be new. I want JRPG, not ARPG. What do you mean by ARPG? I'm curious about that. It looks very JRPG-y to me. It looks very, very much like a modern JRPG.
I think Necrontyr might be talking about like the action-based combat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah. So this is. So I loved 15 with the action-based combat, and I've generally been a big fan. A lot of people really love the Final Fantasy 12 style,
Right.
which is the kind of the cross, and it's kind of the perfect balance of that turn-based, old-school Final Fantasy style combat
Versus
the
combat.
action combat, because there was still a lot of movement. You still had
Right.
position, but you still could stop the fight and like
15 could do that
think
too.
for a second. Yeah.
I honestly didn't start, and I know I'm going to get some outrage about this, but I honestly didn't start liking Final Fantasy games until I played 15 because of how
No, I can
their
understand
combat
that.
system was.
I can understand. Here's the thing: the combat system in the old Final Fantasies could be a little slow and drawn out. It was much more strategic.
Yes.
And so.
I am also glad that they have stopped trying to
it's-
reinvent the wheel of
it's-
turn-based combat.
I am cautiously optimistic. The summons look great. Ifrit
Yes.
looks great. Odin looks great.
I mean, as always, the art for that and just like the world building
if
for
I
their games.
Spotted Bahamut. I did spot Shiva. So they've got a lot of the very classic Final Fantasy stuff. I did see, and I'm curious what you think about this. One of the creators, one of the executive producers over at Square, who works on the Final Fantasy series, was like, "It's time to drop the numbers now. Can we? It's time. We don't need to call it 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Let's just use names."
Wasn't this in the same article where they were talking about how even Final Fantasy developers
Couldn't
can't
follow the story.
follow the storyline anymore?
That's my biggest concern about this next game. It's not the action side stuff, but yes, in that same article they talked about that they've had to put explainers in throughout the game to make sure you're keeping track of what's actually happening.
It is a multiversal storyline, isn't it? Because
Well,
you have Sephiroth who goes and messes
But
around
no,
with time.
that's 7.
Okay.
That's the 7 remake, which we didn't get anything on yesterday. So, and we'll talk about that closer to the end of the stream, which is the stuff that we were expecting to hear about, but didn't.
Sadness.
So 16, again,
it looks really cool.
it does look good. Yeah, Kingdom Hearts story with like a word. Kingdom Hearts story doesn't bother with explainers.
Kingdom Hearts story is going to have Alex actually explaining the storyline at some point and the history behind it because he's very good at it.
I love Kingdom Hearts. Okay, I am a big fan of Kingdom Hearts. I want Yeah, I love Kingdom Hearts. Okay. Um, most Final Fantasy games are no, and there's only a few. So they did the Ivalice series of Final Fantasy games, which was 12 Tactics and Vagrant Story, were all in Ivalice in different time periods.
Interesting.
And so those three were connected for sure. There was another one I think in the Ivalice Alliance series. No, you're right. Most of them are not connected directly. They're doing some weird stuff with 7, so I'll be curious to see what they do with the 7 remakes there.
Man, I chose to get into the wrong lore when I was choosing my character classes for gaming. I went like straight into Elder Scrolls instead. This is far more complicated.
Oh, yeah. Well, and again, it actually kind of comes down to the stuff that we talk about with like animes and mangas and how they can get very convoluted very quickly.
Yes.
It's a JRPG.
Yeah, absolutely. I find it absolutely fascinating. And I always love watching people play the games because then I get to watch the experience and enjoy it that way.
Yeah. Going back to Metal Gear Solid, I'm just curious if I'll still be able to speed run the thing in like 90 minutes.
Oh, that'll be so interesting. I wonder if they'll make the cutscenes skippable at this point.
You could skip them in the first one. I just chose not to because it was fun to watch him. You know, like when Sniper Wolf dies.
So question actually, because I know that we had talked about Konami making it so that their games were exclusive only to PlayStation.
Yes.
And I did see some whisperings that this particular Metal Gear will not be exclusive.
I'm gonna have to check.
Okay.
I honestly don't know about whether this Metal Gear Solid remake series is going to be exclusive to the PlayStation.
Because I also know they've been talking about porting to PC as well, which would also be not a bad choice, but it would also be very much different, especially considering it's Konami.
Yes.
Yeah.
Next one down the pipe. Bungie originally released this lovely first-person shooter back in 1992 for the Mac called Marathon.
Yes.
And by the way, so Marathon, and this is actually funny to me, and it clicked to me after the stream last night, and I was like, why do I know this series? We used to play the snot out of this in junior high school on our Macs, and in my programming class, we would build maps based on real locations, like the Fred Meyer across the street or our junior high, because we were little edgelords.
Yep.
And we would we could network our Macs together and do
Just
multiplayer PvP stuff.
Holy crap.
This would have been for me, it would have been 1996, 97, but this was Marathon's original launch back in the 90s, and I was like, what? And I was like, oh yes, Marathon Infinity, which was like the re-release they did in the mid-90s. But Bungie is going deep cut. They're
so
bringing
excited.
it back. It's a PvP, it looks like a looter shooter.
And there's extraction-based fighting, so you're trying to fight against both the AI that's been released in the world as well as the other players in order to extract something from the target points, as much as I can understand.
Yeah.
I am excited because Bungie does very well with games like this. Their team is very talented, and if they decide to bring in the knowledge that they have from Destiny, right, in terms of shooting and guns and the feel for that, and put that into Marathon along with the movement systems, like I'm pretty excited. I don't play many first-person shooters anymore just because I'm tired, but I might play this one, to be honest.
We know a few people at Bungie, and I can say from talking to them that the game is the priority.
Oh yeah.
Like they love that game. Everyone who works on it.
There's always so much passion. We've talked to a lot of our friends who work at Bungie, and that is literally like they have centered their world around this.
Bungie's a good company. I am very hopeful. Again, it's very nostalgic. This IP is very nostalgic for me.
Yeah.
And I was like, why is this thing? I'm generally not a fan of looter shooters either, but if it gives me the kind of feel that the original Marathon gave you, it's sorry, chat says sense of the flesh. I think it stands a chance of being a really, really popular game.
It's gonna be well
I
done.
also think for us, this really is kind of a big esports one.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I think this could really turn into a great esports scene.
Yeah.
Would be Marathon. So I'm excited. So stay tuned for that. Hopefully we'll be able to get some stuff out. By the way, Bungie, if you're watching, We'd love to partner with you.
We love you.
Look, we're right
love
down the
you.
road. You're not far from us. Come on. Come on over. We have the space for it. We will run marathon events. All right. Staying on shooters, this one was funny. This is a Splatoon-like shooter that's foam instead of squid ink, and where Splatoon is definitely built for kids. It's definitely more a kids-style shooter game. This one is called Foamstars. Pete's giggling. And it's definitely not what I would say is going to be like a super kidsy game. It
Doesn't look very kid-friendly, to be honest.
It definitely looks
what
very...
was that
I
game?
can't tell if they're doing it intentionally, like tongue-in-cheek, or whether they just accidentally wandered into Rule 34.
It's kind of a toss-up at this point, especially considering a lot of game devs grew up with us on the internet. So, like,
It's coming to PlayStation 4 and 5. This is a Square Enix game.
Oh, Squeenix is going to make something good from that. I don't know. Squeenix also can be tongue-in-cheek, but sometimes they really do wander
Pete,
right
producer
into Rule
Pete's back
34.
behind the board right now, like stroking his beard, trying to figure out exactly what Square is doing with this game.
Foamstars.
Foamstars. So, yeah,
I wonder if it was a
and
typo.
again, Foamstars also sounds a lot like other things that are adult-oriented stars.
Yeah. I wonder if it was a typo and they decided to go with it.
It has to be intentional, right? I don't know. When it comes to these Japanese developers, it's a coin flip.
I mean, yeah.
Like, legit.
You had all of the outrage from Nintendo when we had the Bowsette debacle,
Yep.
and then when Luigi and Bowser were shipped, like that.
Foam clubs in the 90s, and I didn't want to go there, Odious.
Exactly.
I didn't want to go there.
Yeah, foam clubs and foam parties were still around when I was in college, and that ended
Yeah.
around 2015.
So-
So like,
So there you go. To bring it back down to a little more family-friendly, Taylor and I both kind of geeked on this one, and that's the Plucky Squire.
the Plucky Squire looks so good, guys. So this is the first time that I've seen a game from the PlayStation area that has very heavy Mario vibes. It reminds me a lot of a mix between Paper Mario and you said Yoshi's?
Woolly Yoshi, the Yoshi Woolly ones.
Yeah.
That are like where he's going through like a real world-ish kind of thing.
Yes. It also has a couple of veins in it that remind me of a game that we've been playing on Game Pass called Tinykins. And I think that if they do this right, this game is going to be so damn good.
The cool thing about this is while this came out during the PlayStation Showcase, it is cross-platform.
Yes.
So it's going to be Switch, Xbox Series X and S, and I think PS4 and 5.
Yes.
It is a cross-platform. Again, while at the PlayStation Showcase, I would recommend looking at the trailer. It looks adorable. It's a top-down adventure. Looks like you like walk around with your little party and whack monsters and do stuff, and then you come off the page of the book and into the real world and find bugs and things like that. And it really looks
It just
adorable.
looks good. It looks wholesome. It looks like it would be a really good time for family game time. And honestly, like
These games also tend to have really solid mechanics.
Oh yeah,
Because they don't have to burn so much time on render and 3D model and all this other thing that they spend so much time on. I find that they're able to put a lot more into the mechanical structure of the game.
Not only that, but a lot of the times these games are far more intuitive as well.
Yes,
because
very much so.
they're made to be picked up and played, especially by kids, right? But that also makes it so that you have that low barrier of access for anybody who's just like, I don't have brain space, but I want to play a game. And you can just jump on that and go for it.
Yeah, and so
Looks so good.
that one is really, 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 really interesting to me.
Another one that would be really good for kids, especially, or just for playing around when you don't have the brain space, they're coming out with Cat Quest DLC.
Yeah.
It is, what is it, Pirates of the Caribbean. I played
Pirates of the Caribbean. Yes, that is happening.
I played Cat Quest
Next
1
year.
and 2 on my stream and had a wonderful time. Those games are awesome, and if you haven't checked them out yet and you love cats or cat puns, do it. It is so worth it. It is adorable and very well made, and I'm excited for that DLC to come out.
Yeah. For everybody looking for VR, and I'm leaving certain games for the end of the stream because Taylor and I will geek out on more. Resident Evil 4 Remake on VR.
No! No thanks.
No? Why no thanks?
Scary.
Yeah.
Woo!
That is again another one that I would rather watch somebody play.
Than doing VR?
Hell no.
As you have like cardiac events after you jump off your couch, like what the heck just happened?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that is no release date on that, but the VR mode will come as a free update. Here's
nice.
some cool for those that own the PS5 version of Resident Evil 4.
Nice. So if you have Resident Evil 4 and you already have like PSVR, then you'll be able to play that for free. It'll be included.
So
which is awesome.
Resident Evil VR stream.
Scary.
Pete just recoiled. I think we'd have to get Phil to do that one.
We would have to get Phil to do that one, and we'd also probably have to like
Clear the room.
We'd have to clear the room, and we'd have to have a drop button or a beat button.
Or
handy.
we'd have to like put a baby gate around him or something.
Something.
To make it so he doesn't run smack into the wall.
For those of you who like the horror stuff, FNAF Help Wanted 2 is coming to PSVR 2.
That's pretty exciting.
Right? Again, if you like jump scares and cardiac events with your VR experience, FNAF is a good
idea.
It is a very good idea. That game, like those games have been solid games throughout what I have seen. I just am not a scary games person because I'm pretty sure I would literally just keel over. But honestly, like if you're into that, go play it. Let us know how it goes because it is very cool.
They did do a trailer for Beat Saber for VR 2.
Yes.
They announced another one called Synapse, Arizona Sunshine. They've got a bunch coming out for PSVR.
Nice.
And speaking of which, we actually saw this. We didn't cover it on the show. PSVR 2's already sold 600,000 units.
Yeah.
Which blew me away. And by the way, if you want to see me get actually educated about VR by Producer Pete, go to the YouTube channel. There's actually a YouTube video where I had underestimated the install base of VR significantly.
Yeah.
And Producer Pete corrected me and kind of filled me in. But yeah, PSVR 2's 600,000 units. That's a lot.
As far as I understand, this has been the fastest selling VR unit to date. That doesn't mean it's the highest, right, that they have sold the most,
Yeah,
but it does mean that, like, out of the gate, they have sold more of PSVR 2 as fast as possible than the other VR systems. It's very interesting to me because the only thing I think of when I think of PSVR is the wands with the glowing balls. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited that people like it. I'm excited that it's like being updated and being made better. But I don't know if I will ever play PSVR because we have an Oracle. Like not an Oracle. What is it called? Oculus. Yes. The other O
I
word.
have none of those, and so I have to dip my feet into VR eventually. And so maybe I'll do PSVR and I'll buy it for the store.
Yeah,
because
check
we
it
do have
out.
PS5 here. Speaking of hardware, somebody in the chat asked earlier, Project Q. Yes.
They did release that.
Project Q, as it is called right now, they don't officially, I think, have a name for the new cloud streaming system.
Nope.
You do have to have a PlayStation to use it. I joked last night that it's the Wii U.
Yeah.
It allows you to stream off your PS5. Now, I'm curious is it like the Wii U, where you have to be in the same house, or
Can you do it?
can I take it on a plane? You know what I mean? Like if I own it, can I leave the house? Can I go to the park? Can I play it at work? Can I play it on the bus?
So what you're asking is this a thing I can play outside of the house, or is it literally so that I can like continue my gaming while I go use the restroom?
So I will tell a story, right? So I had the Wii U, and I was actually a fan of the console. When my spouse was pregnant with our child, right? especially during a certain section, she would get really, really tired really, really early in the day. And she'd go to bed at like 7:30 in the evening. And sometimes most of the time she'd be like, you can stay here, but I'm going to bed because it's 7:30 and I'm tired.
I'm growing a human inside of me.
Yeah, and most of the time she was like, look, I understand you're not going to go to bed at 7:30 p.m.
Right.
Like, but sometimes she was like, look, I just want you to come downstairs. And so what I would do,
yeah,
it's how I beat Assassin's Creed 4.
that tracks
I literally would.
on the Wii U.
Yeah, it was on the Wii U, and it was solid.
Rough. Okay.
It was fine. It worked just fine.
All right.
I had no issues with the AC4 on the Wii U. The only thing it didn't have was the DLCs.
Oh, okay.
They never released the DLCs for the Wii U version. But I would go downstairs and just lay in bed and like throw some headphones in, and you could stream from the Wii U box onto the tablety weird thingy, which is obviously the predecessor to the Switch.
Yeah.
Right? And you could just do. So again, the reason I think the Wii U bombed, and somebody's bringing this up in the thing, and I think this is actually instructive for PlayStation. One, I don't think most people realize the Wii U was a separate console. Like, dead serious, I think if you look at the marketing from the time,
it just looked like a Wii.
It looked like an add-on
for the Wii.
For your existing Wii, which it wasn't. It was a brand new console.
Right.
Two, I don't think Nintendo did a great job of highlighting the differences and also the use case, right? Like, you have to explain to the customer base what the use case is. And this comes to me with Project Q, which is, from a design perspective, just looking at it, it looks cool.
Yes.
As somebody made a joke in our stream last night about, oh, so sad for all the people that had to saw PlayStation 5 controllers and have to
because that's what it looks like.
Now, I like the PlayStation controller, right? And so I don't have an issue with the design. I like the little tablet there.
I have very large hands.
So you're not a big
PlayStation controllers are too small for me.
Okay.
And I often have my hands run into each other trying to play the games. But like with the tablet in the middle of it, I think that it would probably make it a lot easier to play games.
And so that's really what I'm looking for. And so for those that want us to highlight Project Q, like, I want more information from Sony about the use case. Because again, like you said, if the only use case for this is
staying in home, in the house.
I can go to the bathroom and continue playing God of War.
Or be at my dining room table instead of on my couch. Or play from bed because I'm sick. Like.
And again.
Fine.
Sure. Cool. But explain to me the use case. Now, if it's a cloud gaming style where, again, this is what I think would be cool. Your PS5 is hooked to the internet, right? And so all you're doing is cloud streaming. And instead of using a remote server like you do with most cloud gaming, you're just using your PS5. So connect to any Wi-Fi, connect to any signal, and you could be streaming a PS5 game from your house. Again, if the concept is I can be playing God of War, time to go catch the light rail.
Right.
I can grab my little Project Q device
and just continue on.
And just continue playing. That to me is a really, really cool use case.
Yes, it is. And it kind of reminds me of how, and I'm going to tie this back to Game Pass. I promise I'm not a fan, just diehard fanboy here. But you can actually have your Xbox stream to your tablet or your phone for cloud gaming.
Yes.
So as long as your Xbox is on, you can play on your tablet and play outside of the house.
And so that's my question.
Yeah. If they took that capability, that would be great. If it's using
that style of thing, where again, I can be like, pause, leave the house, and continue, then I am totally down for this thing.
I am, however, not nearly as impressed or excited about their headphones.
It strikes me as a neat. Go ahead, Pete.
They already make great headphones.
Yeah, Sony headphones are great.
They're just reskinned whatever they have, because I've had a pair. They're just reskins.
Okay.
And they're going to sound good. They're going to be fine. But they're expensive no matter what brand you put on.
So I haven't gamed on a PS5, but I do remember spending so much time on my PS4, especially when I was in Germany. Like, I was gaming with friends over here, gaming with friends in Australia, whatever. one of the main complaints I had was their audio voice connections for parties. We actually had to migrate to Discord.
Yeah.
Because it was a more stable and
Platform.
effective platform than the PlayStation.
So far, I haven't seen anyone outdo Discord's voice capabilities. Right?
I've heard some good things about Gilded, but that's about it.
I'm saying of the game publishers,
Right.
of the manufacturers of gaming consoles. I have yet to see anybody who can
Outdo Discord.
outdo
I think
Discord
that's
right
what
now.
they're counting on right now.
I mean, here's the thing. I mean, good luck, Sony. Again, I have no issues with Sony. I like Sony.
Yeah, no beef.
So
Just why did they do headphones?
I legit think it's just like, we think this is neat.
It looks like our console.
Probably to go with Project Q, so you can connect via Bluetooth. I do
Probably.
Bluetooth on a Switch, like in bed and stuff, and it's
Yeah.
it's nice.
Somebody's telling me in the chat that Discord's on PlayStation now.
Okay.
And that's really cool. So yeah, if the headphones are just an add-on, like, hey, this is so when you leave the house with your things,
For
you
an
get
extra $100, you can get.
Here's the thing, there are a lot of people, and I know a lot of them, and I'll be honest, sometimes this is me, who's like, I will buy the branded earbuds.
Yeah.
Right? Because I trust the hardware to work
Better.
specifically more consistently. Right?
Okay.
I'll be honest, I've used, like, for example, with my iPhone, I will be honest, I have had middling success with various types of Bluetooth headphones.
Until you got AirPods.
Depending on the quality of the headphones. AirPods almost never have that issue. Right? They just don't.
Okay, but my question is, how many times have you lost your AirPods?
I lose headphones all the time.
Yes, I know. That's why I'm asking you.
We're just not going to talk about it. This is why I take cheap headphones out of the house. Just look. So I guess I understand the headphones thingy. Again,
It's the Traveler's game set.
I really want to know more about this Project Q.
Yeah.
Right? I really...
More information would be good.
Tell me more about Project Q. Tell me why this is... And also tell me a price. Because there's going to be a very big difference between if this does the cloud gaming feature that we think it might do.
Right.
Let's presume for a moment it does the cloud gaming feature. And I can connect to Wi-Fi on an airplane and maybe even preload or do some stuff. And as long as I'm hooked to a high-speed Wi-Fi network, I can stream games from my PlayStation. Like, that's probably, especially for people who travel a lot like I used to.
It would be worth it.
It'd probably be worth $299 for me. Right?
Is that the price tag that they've
No,
introduced?
they haven't introduced a price tag yet that I've seen. I'm just saying, like, as a general rule of, like, as a general, like, thing, I can say $299 for that. Now, if the only function of it is I'm in my house and I can just go use it on the toilet,
right?
If that thing's more than $110, like, I don't really care. Because again,
that would be interesting to see.
Yeah, I need more interest. I need more information.
Did they give any information on like the screen resolution? I assume 1080.
I presume so.
So the only information that I've really seen was
you can
like
get
a
4K
render
on
of
a tablet.
That's true.
They said 1080.
They said 1080? Okay.
All right, yeah, chat's saying they said 1080. I believe 1080 is probably accurate. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to be honest with you, and I think you and I have had this discussion before. Most people, especially on something that's smaller than a full-size television,
you don't need more than that.
Cannot see the difference between 1080 and 4K. They cannot see it. Most people can't. 1080 is sufficient.
I give Pete a lot of flack because there have been times where we'll be watching something and I don't care about the quality of the video as long as I can understand what's going on. And he will be over there messing with the settings, trying to fix the resolution. And so anytime I have control of the remote, I'll be like, let's go to 4K. It doesn't make a difference.
Yeah, and what somebody in the chat's saying is if your monitor is less than 48 and 34 inches, you don't need 4K. That's my point. Most people...
They don't need it.
They don't need, there's no fundamental difference between those two thingies. Frames is more critical than the resolution.
If 1080 is fuzzy for you, go try glasses first, please.
Yeah, some people say that I can't see the difference. And again, most people, even on my big TV at home,
Yep.
unless it's a specific type of show where visuals are
Yeah.
specifically ones that are faster visuals or more vibrant visuals, there's not a lot of difference. But the pixel density. Oh yeah. So there you go. That's Project Q. I don't know what else to say about it. You have anything else?
No. I'm more excited about Assassin's Creed Mirage.
Yes. So this is the one I was the most excited about yesterday.
Yes.
You go first.
Oh.
Because you were a big Assassin's Creed stan too. You love Assassin's Creed.
Yes. Okay, so this is coming from somebody who literally read the books in college.
And the comic books?
No, the novels. Like, they had giant novels for these. Okay, so anyways, I read those. I loved the lore. I loved the entire premise of it, and I was very much into the first 3.5 games.
Now, when we talk about this, we should be clear, because there was AC1.
AC1,
then there was
AC2.
2, and then there was Brotherhood and the other one.
Yes.
Right, the Ezio Saga.
Yes,
which
I
is
loved
3
Ezio.
games.
Yes.
And then there was AC3, which was the Revolutionary War one.
Didn't care about that one.
Right, and then there was AC4, which was Pirates.
Didn't care about that one. However, Odyssey, I loved that one, and Origins also loved that one.
Odyssey and Origins is about where they lost me. I enjoyed. So here's the thing: once they fixed Unity,
Yes.
okay, because Unity was a buggy mess when they first released it. First off, Unity had one of the best reveal trailers that I have ever seen in an Assassin's Creed game, and that's why it was doubly disappointing when it released as a giant buggy mess.
Yeah, that was really bad.
Assassin's Creed Rogue, which released literally like a month after Syndicate, or not Syndicate, after Unity, which A, was a dumb move by Ubisoft, and B, is, in my opinion, the most underrated Assassin's Creed game, right? I loved Rogue. Syndicate was okay. It was okay.
So, Mirage.
I'm thrilled.
The video for it. From what I can see, they've taken a lot of the best features from all of the Assassin's Creed games and kind of smooshed them all together for this. It looks bright, colorful, it's vibrant. You get to do a lot of very cool takedown moves that are, one, a little nostalgic for me.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like I was talking about being able to assassinate people from the hay carts. And honestly, if they're doing what I think they're doing, I think they're kind of returning back to the original lore a little bit with Mirage. So...
But are there follow quests? I did see in the video there's a bench, like he's sitting on the bench again, and I was like, are we back to sitting between 2 people on a bench? Like, this is where I will hide, between 2 people on a bench.
Okay, listen.
I love it.
That was one of the best ways to do it, though. I would go and start brawls in the middle of the streets, and then go and sit on a bench and be like, like, and just watch everybody freak out. It was great. It's a lot of fun.
Oh, it was a blast. It looks like everything we like from AC1, AC2, the Ezio Saga, done new.
So do we think that like this new trilogy is going back to the original trilogy vibe?
I don't know if this is a trilogy. Again, I think by this point they're past trilogy.
I think you need to assume it's going to be a trilogy.
I don't know. I did see him riding a camel, and I hope I get to ride a camel. By the way, I've ridden camels in real life. It's a weird experience.
They're stinky.
No, it's not even the stinky. It's the way they walk.
Well, yeah.
It's not like riding a horse.
No. They have
the insanity darts were fun. So I'm super curious about Mirage. It, like you said, it looks like a return to form. Yeah. The visuals they were doing where he's like, whoosh.
Yes.
Did you notice? Because you remember after AC. Was it AC2? Yeah. So it was when Ezio got his hidden blade, right? And Leonardo's like, hey, by the way, I improved on the design so it doesn't cut your finger off.
Yes.
Did you notice the guy in the trailer? They're going back.
Yeah,
didn't have the finger.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. That's a return to the original lore, which, so one of the reasons why they did that was to, like, signify your loyalty to
And your commitment.
your commitment to being
Because
an
your
assassin.
hidden blade took your finger.
Yes, and because it was supposed to be an extension of yourself, which is why they took that finger. So I'm so flippin' excited about it. It's supposed to come out October. Oh boy.
I'm really hoping, please let us have a good PAX this year, because Ubisoft usually has a really good booth at PAX, and you usually
Get to play sometime
get
there.
to do some stuff there with the new AC games at PAX, which is always right before they release in the fall.
Is it bad that I am kind of wondering if PAX will exist this year?
No,
Especially after E3?
no, I think PAX is going to exist. I just don't know how good PAX is going to be.
How big?
PAX Prime, which it will always be PAX Prime. PAX West is in September. It's Labor Day weekend.
Okay.
To answer somebody in the chat. So, yeah, I saw the hay thing.
Yes.
There was a lot of like walking on tightropes too. Like I was like,
always.
the parkour was very classic. They went
Yes.
back to that old style of parkour from the original games, where he's like, I will swing on the thing and then jump to the thing and then swing to the thing.
Yes. So my one wish for this is that, and I've always joked about this, especially with Assassin's Creed games or anything that is adjacent to that movement style, is please, for the love of God, make it so that I can cancel whatever movement I'm doing so I'm not stuck on a wall screaming at him to move the way that I'm moving. Like, that is...
there has definitely been points in the AC series where you're like, it's really smooth and it's good and it's perfect.
And then you get stuck on a corner.
And then there are times where you're like, that's not what I told you to do. Why did you run up that wall? No, like he got within 3 feet of the wall. Therefore, he must run up the wall. I'm like, no, I didn't want to run up that wall. Now I'm stuck on this thing, and the guys are shooting me with arrows.
Yes, I have literally died so many times, like just running by, and I'll go too close to a corner and be like, you want to be on this, and now you're stuck, and now you're dead.
Because it does, to make the parkour smooth, and I understand this, to make the parkour smooth, it does have to have some sort of, like, I think this is what you're trying to do. Like, it's got to be anticipatory of your movements.
Oh, absolutely. Or otherwise, you'd be running into barriers with your shins, right?
Yes.
So I get it. I do know that, like, with the amount of years, like, I remember when Assassin's Creed 1 was being released because I got the Game Informer issue for it and was really excited about it. And I actually got this game because it released around my 16th birthday. So,
when did AC1 come out? Hang on, I gotta look.
We're aging me right now. Well, 14 years ago.
Was it?
Pretty sure, yeah. Unless it was my 15th birthday, then it'd be 15 years ago.
2007.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
16 years ago. Almost 16 years ago.
So the fact that they have kind of had that time to hone the way that they do their movement systems and the way they do their combat and the way that they figure out their quest lines and their exploration and their puzzles, like, I'm super hyped.
I never finished the Feather Quest, ever. I couldn't do it. There was too many. I was like, if you guys would have left it at 50, I probably would have finished the stupid Feather Quest. But it was 100 feathers. 100. No, it was too many. I did enjoy building my little Brotherhood and sending like assassin dudes everywhere and like attacking people.
That's where I would start the street fights.
I do like the look of the parkour. I do like the fact that it's kind of going back to that old style.
Yes.
I remember when AC1 first came out, it was kind of the bait and switch almost, where you were like, oh wait, this is actually in modern day and we're doing a thing, and I was like, oh, that's interesting.
And the ending for that is, mwah.
Yes. Hey, whoever the anonymous gifters, thank you for gifting us up. We appreciate you.
And Neuro, it's Cult Lord, not Gang Lord.
So I'm kind of curious what the story's going to be and the modern bits.
Yes.
I still think AC4 had the best modern bits. When you're in Abstergo and like working on the video game.
That was pretty cool.
Remember, you were a game developer and you were supposed to be testing it because all these anime stuff, they were turning them into video games.
Right. I didn't play 4.
You never played the Pirates?
No. I don't like naval combat. I think it's stupid.
It's
I would
only
rather jump
part
off
of
of
the
the
game.
ship and go and attack the other ship. Like, I am
Oh no, you can do that too.
That's great. It's so cumbersome. If I am stuck on a vehicle that is too cumbersome to move and I have to like always navigate so that I'm either front facing or side facing to hit somebody, I'm literally just gonna jump off the ship and go set the other one on fire. It's just not
But
fast enough for me.
sea shanties.
That's great.
Sea shanties.
I can listen to those
sing.
on YouTube while I'm playing. Like
There's an audible ugh from the thank you, producer Pete.
there is an audible ugh. Like I'm playing this game to be a lethal assassin, not to be a boatswain.
You're not a bosun. You're a captain of the Jackdaw.
That's great.
And
I still
also
want
from a
Molotov
lore-
cocktails.
From a lore perspective, super important.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
In the running storyline was AC4.
It's very cool for the lore. It is so damn frustrating for the gameplay.
So you would not have liked Rogue.
No. And I also didn't very much like Valhalla either for that reason. There was a lack of color and there was a lot of
sailing.
boats. I like planes. Give me a plane instead.
Yeah.
I like boats.
You do like boats, and you do like. I would rather watch you play it because I'd be able to enjoy it through you.
See, what you do is you take turns. You do it as a joint gaming experience where all of the boat stuff and all the piracy Pete does, and then all the murdering in cities you do.
Oh, dude, yeah.
We could do that.
Yeah.
Right? Plus there's some really good DLCs. I'm just saying, like, that would be a way for you to experience it at least too.
Daniel likes trains.
I like trains
Planes,
too.
trains, and
They
automobiles.
did train stuff in Syndicate. In fact, your base of operations was on a train in London.
Nice.
Was in Assassin's Creed Syndicate.
The only thing that I remember, maybe it was Unity. It was either Syndicate or Unity, where because you're
Unity
playing
was in
as
Paris.
the twins, right?
Syndicate was the twins.
Okay,
the
so
girl and the guy.
Syndicate.
Yep.
The only thing that I remember from that game was getting really very irritated with the fact that I got stuck on one of those elevated wood pallets, and then I got killed. And I was like, never again. Bye.
I got frustrated when we became Batman.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
I'm like, no. I'm sorry. I'm playing Assassin's Creed. He's not Batman.
I apparently just have like a very low threshold of annoyance with Assassin's Creed, so.
So there you go. That is the one that we are the most hyped about.
Yes.
Is AC Mirage.
I mean.
I too want to like dive into like
Plucky Squire.
eagles fly off the tower into a
Yes.
bale of hay, and
Yes.
then be like that's okay, and then watch the guard walk by, and then just be like, whoop.
Yes. Or like climb up to the edge and be like, you can't see me. Bye. This is one of my favorite things.
Yeah, I am super excited for that game. It's going to be a blast.
You know what I didn't get to see in the showcase that I was really hyped about?
Yeah,
yesterday?
let's talk about the things we that they didn't talk about.
Where was Wolverine?
She was very upset about this after the show yesterday.
Where did you put Wolverine, and why was it leaked that it was going to be on the showcase? I need answers. So I was really excited.
He was temperamental. He walked out.
It's very possible. But, like, so...
Now, here's my question. Are you going to buy a PS5 for Wolverine? Because it's not coming out on PS4.
It won't be for Wolverine.
It won't be for Wolverine. And honestly...
But would it push you in that general direction?
Considering...
Depending on how good the game looks like it's going to be.
Considering the fact that we have had our PlayStation 4 Pro and the other PlayStation 4 sitting and gathering dust for the last 2.5 years, minus the maybe 5 hours that Pete has played the newest God of War on.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and he played Spider-Man all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
But that was 3 moves ago? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So... I don't know. If I can get one that it is not, you know, as expensive as like
a
base
used
price.
one or
yeah,
something like that?
I will get a used one. I don't care.
But Wolverine would not be enough to make you buy a PlayStation 5.
No. Remember when we talked about FOMO?
Yeah.
It doesn't get me.
Okay.
It's very difficult to get me with FOMO, especially if it's a game that is only released on a specific platform. Because guess what? I can just come in here on a day off and play Wolverine here.
That's true. Because we have a PlayStation 5. So, kind of going to the other things that we had kind of maybe heard that they were going to talk about, and we're about to this point in the console cycle. No PS5 Pro.
Yeah.
Or
It's very
PS5
interesting.
Slim.
What do you think they're doing? Do you think that maybe Project Q is that answer to their new, like...
Again, I don't think we have enough
generation?
information. And somebody in the chat was talking about Project Q when we were talking about AC Mirage in the YouTube chat. And I don't think we have enough information about Project Q, nor do I think Project Q precludes them from releasing a PS5 Pro or a PS5 Slim. Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean,
I'm surprised we didn't hear anything.
None of the other consoles have released anything new yet.
What improvements could you make?
A better shape.
Yeah.
You were really salty about that shape of that PlayStation. You hate it.
Literally does not fit anywhere where we would
like
have space for it.
Had sex with a game router.
You know, you're not wrong.
Ooh.
Because we like our Switch, we like our Xbox Series S. We don't even have an X, we have an S, right? And with how space is kind of at a premium, especially because we have, you know, the PS4s, we have PS2, GameCube, I have a Sega Genesis, like, all of these things kind of add up to a lot of space. So, like, having that giant PS5, all it would really do is give my cat something to knock over.
I haven't purchased a 5 outside of the one for the store yet because so far again, generally with a PlayStation, I wait until it's time. Until whatever game.
What game is going to make you do this?
Final Fantasy VII, the next Rebirth.
All right.
The FF7 Rebirth will make me do it.
All right.
Because I am 100% positive that it will at least be a timed exclusive on PlayStation. Now, again, when we talk about exclusives, most of these, even when they're exclusives, are timed exclusives these days.
Right.
It's usually a year to a year and a half before it moves on to the other consoles and PC.
Thank you, Epic Games, for making that a thing.
PlayStation, certain games, again, it's not even about a FOMO, it's just there are certain games that I am anticipating to a level where it's not FOMO, it's I want to play this and I don't have the patience to wait an additional 12 to 18 months to play that particular game.
See, lucky for me, if I forget something exists, I still get just as excited about it when I find it again. So one of the benefits of having ADHD is the fact that if I forget this game is out, it doesn't matter because it doesn't exist for me.
So here's an interesting factoid. I Googled, did the PS4 Pro sell well? And according to Sony, the PS4 Pro was 40% of purchases are upgrades from the PS4 to the Pro.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty significant.
Power-wise what they could do, but they could definitely make a slimmer version of the 5 or a better shape. But as far as horsepower, I don't think it's lacking.
No, it's not lacking in horsepower.
No, it's not lacking in horsepower. I mean, they've got these things tuned, and the amount of money that they're spending on the integrated hardware that both are in the Xbox and the Sony. I mean, I know a lot of people would like to compare it to PCs. It's not. It's an apples and kumquats comparison. You can't compare like the graphics chips and stuff like that in a console to what PCs do. It's not a fair comparison. These are specifically designed, architected like systems for these things, and they tune them within an inch of their lives.
If they were not specialized like consoles are, then you would not need to have the dev kits in order to create the games for them, because you could just create it all on the PC and port it over.
Right. And so exactly. And so again, for me it's timed exclusives and stuff that I can't wait to play. So Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and then Kingdom Hearts 4 would be the two games that I would be like, all right, it's time to go buy a PlayStation 5.
Fine, I guess. Yeah, honestly, I would just rather like...
And that's for me buying. Like if somebody bought it for me for a present or something like that. Like that's different.
That's how I got my PS4. Legitimately. Like,
you know, I don't want to buy it, but if somebody buys it for me, I'm not going to complain.
No, that's like complaining about free food. It's silly.
So this is actually the problem that I think both consoles... Now, the sales data, because somebody's talking about, you know, potential cool stuff coming to the platform and kind of the PS5. The issue, Sorry, buffering. Do. This is not weird for the PlayStation. It takes, and same thing with the Xbox. It takes a little while to get into the generation before they really start rolling because they have to understand what these things are doing.
Yes.
I think most PS5s are at MSRP now.
If you can find one.
Best Buy has them.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like, they're there. You know, it's not as simple as I can impulse buy it at Target, but you can find them.
Right. Okay.
For
so
MSRP.
We're not sourcing against scalpers.
No,
anymore.
not anymore. No,
Okay.
That's over.
Thank goodness, because I remember that being just awful.
Yes. Oh no, it was terrible.
That with the shortage on Switches as well, because AC New Horizons was coming out. That was rough.
Yeah, for sure.
It's been 3 years.
Yeah, and you know, part of that it was COVID too.
84 years.
COVID chip shortage.
COVID chip shortage.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of reasons why. I think again, we've talked about this on the show before, where there's a lot of delays, like films. Like
Right.
this is going to be a great freaking year for movies. I mean, amazing year for movies. You got so many good movies coming out this year, and it's because a lot of the COVID delays have finally, like,
Yes.
you know, now we might get some more delays soon. So good bully for us. You know, that's probably going to
That's a
happen.
different conversation to
Yep.
have on a different stream day.
Yep. But the thing is that, you know, I think this is gonna be the year for video games to really look what you've got. You've got Tears of the Kingdom this year.
Yes.
Jedi Survivor came out already. You know, I was watching a guy yesterday who does commentary on the studio. He was like, God, Jedi Survivor came out and nobody's talking about it anymore because Tears of the Kingdom's already out.
Yes.
You know, gosh, so many good things coming this year for video games.
Yes.
Like, if you are a video game fan, like
Make sure you
Street Fighter 6,
Yes.
Tekken 8,
Yes.
like, holy smokes. Dragon's Dogma 2 is coming. Alan Wake 2 is coming.
Yes.
I am sure.
There's a lot.
I'm sure Scott Cawthon's going to announce 5 more FNAF games this year. You know, saw Guardians of the Galaxy. Thank you for the recommendation. Yeah, it's a solid movie. It is a solid film. Again, it's going to be a good year for movies. It's going to be a good year for video games. Last thing I want to say about the showcase, though, because I did watch a bunch of it last night. It was dead. Like, it didn't feel like it had life.
Didn't have any humanity in there.
The thing that E3 forced them to do was have a little showmanship.
Right.
It
Because
was
they were
just
on
like,
a stage with a crowd. Everybody was cheering. You got
Instead of
the
like-
feedback.
trailer, video clip of old dude. Trailer, video clip of different dude.
So you mean it was a Nintendo Direct?
And I've been harshly critical of Nintendo's.
Listen, again, no beef with Nintendo, no beef with Sony, but like, I have a very limited amount of attention. And if you continue to talk to me about games in a monotonous tone with no excitement about what you are presenting, I'm not going to be excited. I would rather just go watch somebody smash the clips on YouTube.
I'm literally going to smash the clips on YouTube,
Yeah.
and I'm going to go read about it on Kotaku.
And
Like-
get excited with people on Reddit. Like, I would
Yep.
rather do that than watch this showcase where you are talking like this about a game that is supposed to be a blockbuster.
We are super excited for
Is it-
our Project Q.
Is the voiceover done live? Because
No.
I would be like, yo, it's fucking Zelda, dog!
I
Right.
don't think they do. I
Well-
think it's all pre-recorded.
Here's the thing, though. PlayStation or Sony didn't need any translation. Therefore, we just had this random white dude. I don't know who it was, and I'm sure I'm, like, being really rude to somebody who's very important.
Look,
but,
I'm
like,
sure it's some executive
he-
at Sony.
stood there, did not break eye contact with the camera, and talked like this about all of the new games that were coming out for their new Sony PlayStation 5.
Yeah. Somebody in the chat's pretty the last memorable E3 thing being the Keanu Reeves thing. Here's the thing, like, let's take Ubisoft,
Yeah.
right? Ubisoft and Aisha Tyler used to host their stuff at E3 all
Yes.
the time. And Aisha Tyler was just, she would crush it every year. She was so much fun to watch
Yes.
that even the games that I wasn't super into,
You got hyped for.
I was like, okay, because Aisha Tyler is funny.
Yes.
She's engaged, and she seemed like she really loves
Yes.
the topics that she's
The
talking about.
passion would show through how she presented.
Even Todd, like even if it was memes later, it was fun to watch Todd in his brown leather jacket.
Yes.
I got Pete right there. Pete went, oh no. It was fun to watch because you know what? Todd was always excited.
Yes, he was.
Todd
and he
was
was
always-
proud about what he was doing.
He was always hype for what he was doing, and he made you feel a little bit of that hype. That's the thing that I think
the showmanship.
is missing.
The crowd
was missing from this
feed.
showcase.
Yeah. Which is also why I would argue making E3 not be a thing is going to be a very bad misstep in the wrong direction.
I think so too, because I think you're going to have a lot more games that go way under the radar.
Yeah. I mean, just think of it this way, right? If somebody...
Nope. Oh, okay. Sure.
No. It's about a cat.
Okay.
If somebody was to come into the game store
Yep.
and I talked to them the same way that the presenters presented these games,
They would never come back.
they would never come back. One of the reasons, right, why we have people who continue to come back is because we are engaging, we are passionate, we are excited that they are there, we are
Yes.
excited to talk to them.
And this showcase was not exciting.
No.
It was very like cut. And again, it was well produced, and I'll give them credit. It was better than some other digital things that happened in the last few days and how it was produced. Okay, Elon, I'm looking at you. Yeah, don't you look like a chode now?
I think he's always looked like a chode. To be honest.
Again, like I don't like Nintendo Directs for this. I liked E3 for that. Oomph.
Yeah, well, you gotta hype it up. It's the same reason why we have music and dancing at, like weddings.
Yeah.
Right? You get to hype up each other and enjoy something that is freeing. It's the same reason why you have concerts at benefits, because you get to have that hype and that mob feeling and that like crowd feeling that is it's a really cool feeling. It is also the same reason why if you have a con versus just like, I don't know, a flea market.
Yeah.
Right?
It's a different vibe.
It is a different vibe because you get to also feel everybody else's excitement in the air, and that gets to feed into your own, and that makes it so that you are more excited. And I think that
it's why churches have bands, for sure. Nope,
yeah,
that's for sure.
that is
That's
exactly
it.
why.
And so
That's
like I
why
said,
they have you sing at churches too.
overall, again, Sony's focus from day one, and Sony's focus for the last decade has been, we're going to talk about games. Games. Here's some games. Look,
I like
look how many
games.
how many cool games you can play on the PlayStation. Look how many cool games we have. Games. Which is, they learned that lesson at the beginning of the PS4 era.
Yes.
Distinctly, because Microsoft went the other way.
Yes.
And everybody wasn't worth it.
But Alex, you're not saying it correctly, because this year it was games. We have games.
We're bringing you more.
We are bringing you more games.
Yeah.
Do they think that that's more professional?
No,
Who wants to be professional in the gaming world?
Here's the thing. I really think, and this is the difference, and actually I think I can speed this a little bit. There is a different vibe. If you look at the stuff that we've produced for YouTube exclusively, where we recorded ahead of time, and it's only recorded, it's a different vibe than when we're running live, right? Because in live, we've got multiple chat streams running where people can react to that, and it gives us immediate feedback or thoughts about what we're talking about.
It's a conversation.
It is absolutely overproduced when it's not live.
Yes.
It's always going to be overproduced.
It's always going to be harder to have a conversation with a camera if you're not used to it, right? Versus being able to have an organic conversation.
And I think that's it. It's like these executives aren't used to having camera conversations. The reason Aisha Tyler's good at what she is because she's a performer first.
Yes. It's just like if you have a tabletop RPG game that's being recorded, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Like, if you don't know how to interact with each other, or you don't know how to interact with the cameras or the chat, then it's not going to be good.
And what I'm really looking forward to seeing now, because we know that the summer showcase is coming up, I'm curious if anybody's going to look at Sony's presentation and go, oh my God, that was boring.
Games.
And I wonder if I wonder if, again, EA and Microsoft and Ubisoft and all these ones that are doing Summer Expo, like Summer Showcase stuff, if
really
they're going to go, we need to do this better. And TikTok chats over there just going, games. So thank you for that, TikTok chat. We love you. Anyway, that's it. This was, again, our very special episode. Go to gamers7pnw.com to find out what events are happening this weekend. Taylor, what are some of the things happening this weekend? You just posted about a bunch.
Yeah, so we do have a original Xbox Halo tournament. We're going to be doing the old LAN party, so I totally snagged a LAN party meme and overlaid our event on it. That goes out this afternoon. It's going to be $10 for entry. Starts at 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. Come and play. No screen peeking, please. We also do have our Street Fighter event, which is going to be next weekend, I believe. Next Friday.
It's launch.
It's the new Street Fighter. Come and
6.
play with us. We will have more information about that up here soon. We also do have our... sorry, I looked at chat. We also are going to have our family game time on Sunday. So if you have littles and you want to come and socialize, come and bring them in. Play some board games with each other. We will have quite a bit of our community members also playing with their families as well. Make some friends and connect. Drink some boba. Enjoy yourselves in the afternoon. And then, gosh, we have recurring events too. I try not to flood everybody's feeds because we literally have like 3 to 4 events a night, every single night. So if you do want to know more, you can always reach out to us on Facebook, Insta, Twitter, Discord, or you can visit our live event calendar and then come ask us in person.
Yep.
And then that way you can have a conversation about the games that you like to play.
All right. Here's something goes according to plan. Jesus. Thank you, TikTok chat. We love you. Goodbye, everybody. We have to do work things.
Drink water. Be kind to yourselves and others. And we appreciate you. Oh, that's right. Community Appreciation Day, June 3rd. Bye.
End of the string.